Hey, what's up, guys? I am doing another video critiquing the match that I had last night, and it wasn't a very good one, but we learned a lot. Ended up coming in fourth overall, and you'll see I basically had one stage that I connected with, which to me was worth it. So one thing that's kind of shifted in my mindset, and I have to give a shout out to Sean Pham. He's another masterclass shooter, super solid shooter, works his ass off to be good. He basically was saying with these indoor matches, he's like, I'd like to see you mess up more. I'd like to see you push a little bit harder at these indoor matches because this is the place to do it. That kind of just struck me where I was like, yeah, that's actually a really, really good point that these indoor matches, if you're not pushing yourself like I mean, it's practice. If you want to go in, win indoor matches, okay, but you really need to see these matches as practice, especially if you're trying to do well at the big matches. Which I am. I've got goals for nationals. So we'll start off. I'll play this first section on this first stage. This actually was not the first stage we shot. I think this was the first. No, where'd it go? This was the first stage we shot right here. But we'll do them out of order. It doesn't really matter. It's like the second stage. Okay. Okay, so a couple things going into that stage right there. One of the first things was I had changed my stage plan multiple times. Originally, literally up until like my turn, I was planning on just standing here, engaging this target, and then two of them in the middle and leaving the farthest one for the end. So in a big match, I would never do this. Never would I switch my stage plan, especially once I've rehearsed it. When I'm waiting, I will be mentally going through my stage plan over and over and over and over and over again until I know it like the back of my hand. And that is a big part of, being able to execute. But what I realized is I like this stage plan so much better, and I was like, well, this is practice, so let's go for it. So first thing right off the bat, I overconfirm on this. You can see how long it basically takes me. Draw, presentation. I probably have my dot there, and I finally fire. So that just took a little too long. There was no reason for me to take that time right there. That should have just been out, confident, 2 alpha. Pretty good there as far as how fast I split, but I could have probably rotated more out. Again, it's okay. Dropping the gun right there. There was no reason to drop the gun to here. No reason. And this is partly just not rehearsing stage plan. So the gun comes down needlessly and then has to snap back up. I get it up quick enough, but again, there was no reason for the gun to drop there. Those splits are not bad. They should have been a little bit faster transitions. I think I was watching my work. So I kind of hang out there for a second and should have been on to the next one. Good. That was pretty good. I shot those really aggressively. I forget what the hits on those were, but I like how aggressive I shot those. Now, what you'll notice here is this is where I pick up a mic. I get an alpha mic here because I nicked the barrel. And the reason being is I merged 2 stage plans together. I'm trying to remember if I shot this target or if I need to shoot these 2. And by the time I'm shooting this one, I'm thinking about this one and going, no, you already shot that one. So you actually see me look over to that target. See my head shift right here. I'm looking at the target. There's my alpha, and I send 3 more at it, and I'm going, crap, do I need to hit that other target? And I'm like, no, I shot it. So overall, again, I'm going to chalk this one up to, in a big match, I can't reiterate this enough, don't change your stage plans. Try and find the best initial stage plan that you can come up with, and then unless you have ample time to change something minor or change anything, like it's much more difficult to control pace and to do all the things you need to do if you have to change your stage plan. Okay, so this stage, there's a couple things that just ate up time. And again, I don't know if I would have done the same stage plan just because of the intricacies of how tiny the footwork was and stuff. But right off the bat, you see that I basically draw, and I'm really concerned about breaking 180 here because this is actually a stupid easy way to break 180. So you see me kind of dip the gun down low. This was a super tight lean, but we're allowed to use the bags, so it was intentional to put your foot on the bag, but it still feels weird. So I take a ton of time getting into this position. This just ate so much time. And mainly because I was trying to set myself up to get those hits. And what's funny is I ended up picking up a mic by leaving on the headshot of the partial. So there's a full target, no shoot, and then partial back here, and I ended up picking up a mic. I didn't really call it. I was more kicking myself for how slow I entered this position. And even for an open target, that was really slow splits. And that carried on just not shooting aggressively through this whole stage. That took way too long to acquire an open target. So basically, I didn't shoot that confidently. I shot that extremely cautiously, and that is nothing more than an open target on the ground. So that should have been coming to position, tot, right away. And that's the cadence about right there, the rhythm, or the split times that I should be looking at was what I did there. This footwork is always awkward, coming out and going around no matter what you do. I push off the wall there a little bit, and then I have an awkward hard entrance, which honestly I think I did a pretty good job of entering in towards. But what we're going to see is I shoot too conservatively again. So all of those were do, when really they should have been do. It just was a little too much over confirmation for the level of USPSA that I'm supposed to be at. Solid reload, and again, same thing, just shooting cautiously. And you'll see, like, this was the second stage we shot, and after I got done with it, I just went, that was too conservative. Everyone was like, that was really good. And it's like, well, just because there's alphas on the target doesn't mean that was really good. I shot too conservatively, and I want to say Sean put up, gosh, like 4 seconds on this stage. I think he was 14-something, and I was 17-something. So, and that's also, again, this is a freaking open target. So, people, they see that you engage this, and you're like, yeah, no, that makes sense. No, this should have been like really fast. Should have been much more aggressive than that. See, the second one, this one, that was correct. The way I split on that target, and this is why I know I'm capable of it. So when I shoot this one, so I shoot bottom, top, and then you hear me boom, boom. That is basically the same distance this was. Why was I able to shoot it so much faster? Let's watch that transition one more time. Sorry. You see the split on that one? That's what it should have been on this lower one. Okay, so overall, that one was not a horrible stage planning. I took a little bit too long to get in that position. Some of the footwork was a little fancy. And then I just shot too conservative. This stage, this one goes well. There's a couple things that right off the bat went bad, but we'll just play it out. All right, so hits were pretty solid on this one. I didn't have anything major go wrong, but there's a couple things that happened. So this initial position, you have an open target right here. There's another open target like right about here and a small steel popper. In my head, my intention was to go open target, step to center, bypass the other open target, steal, and then move out on the open target. One of the biggest, most difficult things about USPSA is when your muzzle crosses a target, you want to shoot it, no matter what, I've found. So I have to start making special notes of those things as, hey, dude, because I don't want to exit on steel, I end up doing fine on it. Because I didn't want to exit on steel, it ended up taking me mentally out of the stage a little bit, right? Because I'm thinking, wait, that wasn't what I meant to do. So instead of going open paper, steel, leaving on open paper, I went open paper, steel. Which was not bad because I split the gun, I think, pretty aggressively on that sequence. I maybe could have done a little bit more on the further open target. But you can see me stall for a minute. So, draw is pretty solid. I get the gun out and boom, boom. right? But there's a slight hesitation from when the steel goes down. You see it. You can barely see it, but there's hesitation. Right? So take a second, and then I realize, oh crap, I'm supposed to be reloading. And this is another area that if I would have done this sequence right, then I would have been able to reload immediately. Like it would have been like steel, drop mag, start reloading, looking to next position. And I actually have to kill a bunch of my speed as I'm coming around this corner because I delayed the reload. I actually got a solid 2 pumps in with the gun of running before I went, oh, I'm supposed to be reloading right now. So that target would have been done with right here, right? That would have been done with right here. I wouldn't have had to do that stall that I did and swing wide. I would have been done with him sooner, so I probably would have been done with him here instead of there. Then this is where I could start to be like, crap, my stage plan. Oh no! So I get back on track, do this pretty well, him. And again, if I could redo this, I probably would have changed this portion, and for one big reason, hip orientation. I got drawn in this position more than I would have liked, and I had to really be mindful of the 180 there because I was like on 180. In my head, I was like, oh my God, I'm on 180. So what I was supposed to do here is walk this target. There's an open target in this back corner through this port. I was going to walk him out, just shoot him into the port, and then be able to transition to I'm trying to point to the screen as if you guys can see my finger on the screen. Then there was a partial target here, open, and one tucked behind the barrel. So it literally would have been like walk the port in, open, partial, there, and there was so many less footwork, less stuff going on, but I screwed that up. And once again, I got drawn to the target that I could see, not the target I wanted to engage. So that probably added, all those tiny little mistakes. It doesn't seem like much, but that adds, 2 seconds on. Just by overall your time, your movement, slowing yourself down, things like that, it adds time. All right, let's watch the next one. Okay, so this is the only one I really connected on last night, and I was super happy with this one. Again, I actually changed my stage plan a couple times. I was one of the few people that ran it from the right. And I'll explain why I ran it from the right. So this target right here, you can't really see. It's tucked behind a barrel. And so the option was start on this left side over here, shoot those 2 that I'm going to shoot in a second, and then run over to this corner and have to do like an awkward hard stop to engage this dude and then shoot this one moving forward. But the tendency, and I already knew this because of what I was doing, the tendency was going to be to enter and shoot this on the entrance and then have this like weird, awkward lean where you're stuck in this position. You have to suck yourself out of it. Anytime I'm doing like one of these and I have to like suck myself out of a position, I try to avoid those because those positions, those eat up so much freaking time. So I opted to start from the right and to start on this target so that I would be forced to back out on this target, okay? And this plan kind of evolved as it was going. So this first portion is really, really good. See, this is a much more on that the 2 stages ago where I said I overconfirmed my sight picture on the draw. This was much better. And that was a much lower percentage target, truthfully, than the one that I was shooting at the other time. Okay, so then what I realized is if I can shoot targets, like there was a target, you'll see it, that's like deep over here in the left-hand corner. And I figured out how to eliminate this back position, which ended up saving me a bunch of time, and I'll explain how. So originally I wasn't going to shoot this one moving across. I was just going to sprint to this position, shoot both of these, and then have to do a weird, awkward entry up front. But since I realized I could shoot this one that's tucked behind the wall over here from a different position, and I realized I could take this one as I'm moving across to this position, I realized I no longer had to orientate my hips backwards and waste a bunch of time. I also love exits like that. So truthfully, this is one of those areas where you can count steps, but sometimes I think what makes up for a lot of steps, probably like 2 to 3 steps, is momentum. So if I'm going this direction, could I have stopped and changed directions and just headed like next to this wall and cut some steps off? Yeah. But I would make the argument that it's kind of tough sometimes when I can roll through this position because there's 2 open targets and I don't have to kill my momentum. To me, it's very close, but these are easier. If I was shorter and more compact and could stop and do all this stuff really, really fast, then it might be more of a toss-up. But for me and my style of shooting, when I can carry momentum through, I'm just going to do better because I don't have to stop, change directions, and do all that stuff. Right? And then I could come in super hard and make up that distance. My gun is already shooting. So it really was the distance from here to here, not necessarily the distance. Like when people walk this off, they'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to walk from here all the way up. Well, I can't shoot anything until I'm all the way up here. So this is actually a much better approach angle, and the gun was up shooting way sooner. So there's a lot of weird things in USPSA that you have to think about when doing that, and I think that's why this stage plan ended up being so good. And this one I took first on. I think I had pretty damn good hits, and I didn't feel like I needed to rush. So these are the stage plans I'm trying to isolate and figure out. So being tall sometimes is to your advantage. I was able to hit this dude over the shoulder of this partial target, and that completely eliminated this position for me. So yeah, but overall it was a really, really good match. Sean put down some freaking hammers of stages. He did really, really good. He seems like he's been pushing. My biggest takeaway from all this is I need to split the gun more aggressively, especially on open targets at like medium distance. I'm just shooting a little too cautious. So that's where these indoor matches are perfect. And I have to give a big shout out to Sean for that, because Sean really was like, hey, dude, winning these indoor matches is great, but like you should definitely, if it's coming at the cost of you not pushing yourself or finding a new pace or whatever the case may be, it's really not worth it. So I'm going to try. I'm still, as long as when I'm making these mistakes, I'm aware of why I'm making them. And a lot of this last night was just me changing stage plans at the last second. It was just me changing stage plans at the last second and seeing how aggressive I could get on the gun, because I was upset that I shot 2 stages very conservatively. And I was like, hey, I'm coming here to just shoot aggressive, right? That's what I need to do. And yeah, so sometimes I think that skill, because I fall back to the tactical side of things and, making sure both rounds are, center mass and over confirming. I think there's a whole nother level of over confirming at where I'm at now. What I used to consider over confirming is not over confirming anymore. It's kind of like that's just shooting slow. So I think it's another bump that I need to make on some of those medium range targets that are out there a little bit further. I need to trust that I can kind of take a little less acceptable sight picture, have a good grip, good trigger press, split the gun, and move on. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's always a pleasure. We love sponsoring this this match here at Sharpshooters. Class information, I have the class coming up on May 14th at this range at Sharpshooters in Roswell, Georgia. If you're interested, go to sharpshooters.com or sharpshootersusa.com. Go to their training, their classes. It's all the way at the bottom. Scroll down there, and you can sign up for that class. Yeah, thanks, guys.